There are 3 luxury cars collecting dust on dealer lots right now that nobody's even test driving, and every mechanic I know says the exact same thing about them. These are the ones they would buy with their own money, not project cars, not good for the price compromises. I am talking about vehicles that were $60,000 to $85,000 brand new, built on platforms that routinely survive 300,000 to 500,000 miles, because the average buyer has absolutely no idea what is sitting underneath that badge. And number 1 on this list, that car shares the exact same engine as a $120,000 sedan. Not similar, not inspired by. The same block, the same internals. Selling for a fraction of the price because nobody bothered to look under the hood. Now let's get right into the details. After more than 2 decades of working on these vehicles, I have watched people walk onto dealer lots and finance brand new mid-tier crossovers for $38,000, while these 3 luxury cars just sit there, depreciating into the ground, waiting for someone smart enough to do 5 minutes of research. The average buyer shops by badge, by monthly payment, by what their neighbor drives. That is exactly why these cars are cheap. And that is exactly why this is your opportunity. Number 3 is a full-size luxury sedan. That was $55,000 to $68,000 when it rolled off the lot. Heated and ventilated leather seats, a twin turbocharged V6 engine, a ride quality that makes it special. A BMW 5 Series feels stiff, and it is currently selling on the market today for less than a base model version of a new Honda Accord sedan. Let that sink in for a second. About 14 months ago from now, a guy in his late 30s came by. He came directly into my shop. He was a hard-working contractor, drove about 25,000 miles a year, and had just put a deposit down on a 2019 Toyota Camry XSE for $22,500. He wanted me to do a pre-purchase inspection on it before he finalized the deal. Clean car, nothing wrong with it. But when he told me the price, I pulled up my phone to show him and showed him what else $22,000 could have bought him. A 2018 Genesis G80 3.3T Sport with 61,000 miles on it, more horsepower, real luxury interior, a much smoother highway ride indeed, and a platform that Hyundai spent a decade engineering specifically to compete with Mercedes and BMW. He stared at the screen in disbelief and asked me why it was so cheap. That is the question everybody asks. And the answer is always the same. Nobody cross-shops Genesis. The brand is still too new in people's minds. Buyers assume it is a rebadged Hyundai with a fancy badge slapped on, and they move on without looking twice. That is your absolute opportunity today. Here is what nobody tells you about the Genesis G80. The 3.3T engine in these cars is a twin turbocharged Lambda 2 V6, producing 365 horsepower and 376 lb-ft of torque. This is not a budget powertrain dressed up in luxury clothing. This engine family was developed alongside Hyundai's global luxury division and has been refined across multiple platforms over more than a decade. It uses an 8-speed automatic transmission co-developed with ZF, one of the most respected transmission manufacturers in the world. The same transmission you find in vehicles costing 2 and 3 times as much. The suspension is a fully independent multi-link setup front and rear, tuned specifically for comfort at highway speeds. Hyundai threw serious engineering resources at this car because they needed it to be credible against Germans and Japanese competitors on day one. The result is a vehicle that over-delivers dramatically at its current used price. And now let's talk about the money. A 2018 Genesis G80 3.3T had a starting MSRP of around $58,000. A fully loaded sport trim pushed past $65,000 easily. Right now you can find 2018 models with 70,000 miles for $19,000 to $23,000. That is 65% depreciation. For context, a 2018 BMW 540i with similar miles is still $28,000 to $34,000. A 2018 Mercedes-Benz E300 with similar miles is $24,000 to $30,000. The Genesis gives you comparable or superior performance, a better factory warranty history, and significantly lower repair costs for thousands less. Repair costs on the G80 are honest. Brake pads all 4 corners run about $320. A transmission fluid service is around $180. Spark plugs at 60,000 miles, about $280 at an independent shop. The most expensive common maintenance item I see on these is the turbo inlet hoses, which can develop cracks past 90,000 miles. That is a $200 fix, including labor. These are not European repair bills. When you are shopping for a G80, here is my inspection checklist. First, check the oil for any milky or frothy appearance, which could indicate a coolant leak into the engine. Rare on the 3.3T, but worth ruling out. Second, listen for any turbo whine or hesitation under hard acceleration. A healthy 3.3T pulls smoothly and linearly through the rev range. Any surging or flat spots mean boost issues that need diagnosing. Third, test every electronic feature, the sunroof, the ventilated seats, the lane assist, the blind spot monitors. Genesis loaded these cars with technology, and faulty modules can be expensive to replace. Fourth, check the rear air suspension if equipped on higher trims. Push down on each corner and make sure it rebounds evenly. A sagging corner means a failed air strut, which runs about $600 to $800 per corner at an independent shop. Who should buy the G80? Anyone who wants a genuine luxury driving experience at a fraction of the cost. Highway commuters who want a quiet, composed ride that eats miles without effort. Buyers who want to pull up somewhere and step out of a car that looks like real money without actually spending real money. Now, who exactly should skip it? If you need maximum cargo space, a sedan is not your answer. If you live in a rust-heavy state and cannot find one with a clean undercarriage, walk away. And if you need something your mechanic can diagnose without a specialized scan tool, go with a Japanese alternative. But if you think the Genesis G80 is undervalued, this next car might be the single most ignored luxury sedan in America. Dealerships are practically giving them away. Number 2 is a full-size luxury sedan that Infiniti built to take on the BMW 5 Series and Mercedes E-Class directly. It was $52,000 to $67,000 brand new. Real wood trim, a naturally aspirated V8 option, rear-wheel drive, and a refined ride. Journalists called it one of the most refined. It is currently selling for $14,000 to $19,000, sitting completely invisible on dealer lots. The average buyer forgot this car exists. About 8 months ago, a woman came in, looking for a pre-purchase inspection on a Lexus, a 2015 Lexus GS350 for $21,000, with 88,000 miles. Good car, no argument there. But while I had her in the shop, I pulled up a 2015 Infiniti Q70 with the 5.6 LV8 and 79,000 miles, a one-owner service history for $6,500. She looked at me like a lawnmower. Tell me one thing the Lexus offered that the Q70 did not at $4,500 less. She could not answer. She test drove it. She bought the Q70. She texted me later. It was the best financial decision in years. Here is what nobody tells you about Q70. Underneath that badge is Nissan's FM platform. Same architecture used in the Nissan GT-R and the Infiniti G series from early 2000s, a platform with decades of refinement behind it. The 5.6 LV8 produces 420 horsepower and 417 lb-ft torque. This is the same VK46VD engine family used in the Infiniti QX80 and the Nissan Patrol, vehicles that routinely rack up 300,000 to 400,000 miles in commercial and fleet use across the Middle East and Australia. It is naturally aspirated, no turbos to fail, no intercoolers to crack, no boost pressure to manage. It uses a 7-speed automatic transmission that Nissan has been refining for over a decade. This is a proven overbuilt powertrain wrapped in a luxury body that nobody is paying attention to. Now let's look at the numbers. A 2015 Infiniti Q70 5.6 had an MSRP of around $62,000. Right now you can find them with 80,000 miles for $15,000 to $18,000. That is a massive 75% depreciation on a car with a V8 that was engineered to last. A 2015 BMW 550i with similar miles is $22,000 to $27,000, and you will spend every dollar of that price difference on maintenance within 3 years. A 2015 Lexus GS460 with similar miles is $19,000 to $24,000. The Q70 gives you more displacement, more horsepower, and the same long-term durability for thousands less. The repair costs are quite straightforward. Brake pads all around about $340. Transmission fluid service around $210. Spark plugs at 105,000 miles, about $380s at an independent shop. These are Nissan parts at Nissan prices inside a luxury car. The most expensive common repair on the Q70 is the air suspension on equipped trims, which typically does not become an issue until well past 110,000 miles. A coilover conversion runs about $100, and it solves the issue permanently. Shopping checklist for the Q70. First, check the transmission fluid condition. Dark brown or burnt smell means neglected service. You should simply walk away. Second, inspect the exhaust manifold area for any ticking on cold start. The VK56 can develop minor exhaust leaks at higher mileage, not catastrophic, but budget $300 for a fix. Third, test the adaptive shift control in the drive mode selector. These are electronics-heavy systems and faulty modules are expensive. Make sure everything engages cleanly. Fourth, find one from a warm, dry state. The FM platform has a steel subframe that does not love road salt. Who should buy the Q70? Anyone who wants a V8 rear-wheel drive luxury sedan at the price of a used compact crossover. Performance drivers who want genuine power without European maintenance costs. Buyers who want to own a car that turns heads in the parking lot without turning their wallet inside out. Who should skip it? Fuel economy conscious buyers should look elsewhere. The 5.6L V8 gets about 16 miles per gallon in the city. If you need a third row or maximum cargo room, this is not your car. And if the brand name matters to you more than what is under the hood, you will always be chasing a badge. The Q70 rewards the buyer who does their homework. But if you think the Q70 is the best deal on this list, what comes next is going to make everything else look overpriced. This is the car I recommend more than any other, the Lexus LS 460. People push back at first. They say it's old, too big, or just for retirees. But then they sit in one, check the maintenance history, and buy it, every time. A principal came in, shopping for a 2017 Audi or Volvo in the $30,000 range, both with high maintenance risks. I pointed to a 2015 LS 460 F Sport with a perfect dealer history worth just $24,000. He asked to sit inside. 20 minutes later, I had to remind him the owner was coming to pick it up. He was sold. The LS 460 is simply the most car you can get for the least money.